Have you ever felt like you're on your own? I need help, but I don't know how to ask. I know for me, for a lot of years of my life, I felt that way. I was like lonely inside, like most entrepreneurs are. You got this idea, you're starting this little business, or you want to start a little business, and you're just like on your own. Dan Sullivan, my former life coach, business coach from the Strategic Coach Program, he called us rugged individualist, where you like, no one seems to care about me. You're working really hard toward a goal, and you're by yourself. I feel that way when I do my Ironman training. I mean, who's going to go on a 5-hour bike ride with me? Who was going to go on a 2-hour run with me? Who's going to go on a 2.5-hour gym? No one. So Ironman triathletes, they're just like, they train on their own. Most of them do. I know for me, that's the way it's always been. And every time I hit a roadblock, either in Ironman training or even in my business, I didn't know where to turn oftentimes. Have you ever hit a roadblock, felt that way yourself? Well, of course you have. And now the question is, what do I do now? So for me, I always would just go to YouTube. I love YouTube. There's so much cool stuff on YouTube. You're watching this right now on YouTube. I'd go to the internet, I would go read books, and it's exhausting searching. That's what I used to do. And I still kind of do for like quick questions. I'll go out, try to find an answer. And mostly now I'm trying to find where I need to go to find the answer. So why didn't I ever ask for help, other people to help me? That's really the interesting question. I mean, there's a lot of people that help us, but we just don't feel like we need to ask. And it's part of that loneliness thing. Why did I choose to be lonely as an Ironman or as an entrepreneur? Well, the simple answer is, and you're going to like roll your eyes back in your head, it's shame. Shame. I didn't feel worthy to go and ask people. Oh no, I don't want to ask them. I'll just go find it on my own. I'm not worth doing that. And most of the time when I bring this topic up of shame, it's like the deer in the headlight look. Let me just describe shame really quick for just a minute. By using the analogy of the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt suggests that you would say, oh, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. Okay. Shame would suggest, I am a mistake. You see, when we have this unconditional love, we will about ourselves, we accept all of our imperfections, we accept our loneliness, if you will. You will say like, oh, I made a mistake, versus shame, I am a mistake. And that's the way I always felt. You see, I thought people would ridicule me for not knowing the answer. So I'm not going to go ask, they're going to think I'm kind of stupid. Or I have this idea and I would ask somebody and they would like reject my idea. We don't like rejection, especially when we've got this shame thing going on. If we have like healthy guilt going on or healthy self-love going on, we don't care if people reject us. Why? Because we don't reject ourselves. Have you ever felt that way? Am I like onto something here? Shame for me, I had it bad. I had it so bad. I hid all of my imperfections. And I had a lot of them. I still do. Don't tell anybody. I still have a lot of imperfections. The other thing too about this whole thing about shame and not asking is you're disconnected. You see, if you're not going to go ask somebody, you're disconnected from that person. Shame causes disconnection. In fact, that's one of the biggest symptoms of it. You're just disconnected from the world. The real question is, how do you solve it? I know I asked that a lot. I sensed that something was wrong for a lot of years. I had these behaviors that I knew weren't healthy, and I didn't even know how to get rid of it. And so I asked that question, why? And I was led to Brené Brown. I read her book, Gifts of Imperfection. I saw her highly watched YouTube video, and I realized I had the symptoms of shame. I was a perfectionist, I was a people pleaser, and I had to perform for everybody. See, perfectionist says, man, if I am perfect, people will accept me. And the reality is you can't get perfect enough. I worked hard, and I needed to really work hard on me. I had to be honest with myself. I had to look in that proverbial mirror. I was so disconnected from my team, from people I cared about, and it was causing me not to seek help that I needed. So what did I do? I got real. I hired a psychologist, somebody that was trained in shame. That was the best thing that I could ever do. See, that was one of the first times in my life I reached out and asked another human being for help. It was one of the greatest days of my life. I mean, can you imagine asking somebody for help? Well, I did. And that led me to so many right answers. And what I got from that one ask, I feel good about myself now. I ask for a lot of help now. As an example, when I went as an endurance athlete on a ketogenic diet, I mean, I was looking and I saw this or listened to a podcast by Jeff Fullick, and he was interviewing Zach Bitter. And if you don't know Zach, just look him up, B-I-T-T-E-R. Zach is an endurance runner, an ultra marathoner, and he's got the American record for running around a 400-meter track for 12 hours, and he got the most miles in 12 hours. I mean, who would do something like that? So Zach was a ketogenic athlete, low carb, high fat. So what did I do? I sent an email. Hey, Zach, you know, I'm blah, 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 blah. And he got back to me. And so we had this 30-minute phone call for free. It was like a great phone call. I asked for help. I got so much out of Zach's experience. I've reached out to Jeff Fullick. I've read all of his books. I reached out to Phil Maffetone for an endurance athlete. He's the heart rate method guy, trained Mark Allen to win 6 world titles, and I reached out to him. He got back to me in an email. Had a little chat. Reached out to people. Jeff Walker, Brendan Bouchard. I sent Tony Robbins an email. He's not returned it yet. I know that he will, though. You, me, everyone else, we are so worthy to ask people for help. You deserve that. When you do that, when you get rid of all this shame, when you feel good about yourself, when you start reaching out, you'll have this shield to block off all these fiery darts of disappointment, people rejecting you, judgment, all that stuff. I no longer compare myself to others, so I don't have this need to judge, because I really care for everybody. It's my vision of my life. It's the vision of my dream. The reason I'm an entrepreneur, all the things that I'm seeking as a result of me being an entrepreneur, I'm responsible for. I love my dream. Part of it is just to help people just like you. I don't care if others don't accept my dream, because there's enough people that do. Still, very much alone. I mean, that's what entrepreneurs do, and the closest people I have to me are the other entrepreneurs on my team, other entrepreneurs in life. See, we understand each other. And my Toastmasters group, bunch of entrepreneurs. It's like one of the best meetings I go to once a week. And I also do a lot with other people now. I'm dang sure not afraid to ask. Shame doesn't define me. Doesn't define you, doesn't define anybody. Your spirit does. What you do or don't do does not define you. It's okay to ask. In my experience, most people are very willing to help. I get people contacting me from the internet, from some YouTube videos, and I'm like more than willing to, if you want to talk. I get people on LinkedIn reaching out to me, especially here in Las Vegas, and I just say, hey, let's go have lunch. Let's go to Starbucks. So here's 4 things you can do to rectify this thing of not asking. Number 1, start asking why you're afraid to ask. Let that lead you to some answers so that you can get rid of what's stopping you from asking. Number 2, what are your fears? This is the proverbial looking in the mirror. Most people do not look in the mirror. They're afraid of the pain and suffering of the journey that it takes to get there. And if you start in here and you want to go here, there's going to be a lot of rocky road. It's just the way it is. So most people are afraid of that. So that's the second thing. What are your fears? Number 3, from those answers, seek solutions that would solve them. And part of those solutions are asking other people. And the 4th solution, do something for yourself every day. For me, it's exercise. For me, it's reading and studying. For me, it's digging into the Bible and the scriptures, okay? I do something for me every day. Yesterday, as an example, I spent the day doing my little food creations all day. And I ended making this awesome keto ice cream at the end of the day. That's what I did for myself. It was a day that I needed to do for me. So those are the 4 things. I hope this helped. Don't be afraid to ask. You are so worth it. And through asking, people that have the knowledge are going to help you get there. You take care. See ya.